Hey guys, welcome to the CO Visit. Colin here, and always with my trusty coffee. Mm-hmm. I just took a shower, just got home from work, and oh man, it was a rough week. There's days when these kids, I just want to wring their necks. Honestly, I got through it. Here we are. Well, what I want to talk about today, just gonna kind of ramble a little bit here and just have a little gab with all y'all. So I appreciate you clicking on this video. The way that Jehovah's Witnesses assassinate your character, the way they break you down, and it's interesting how they talk so much about in the Bible qualities like being honest, and they always read scriptures about how it's abomination to Jehovah, the false scales and things like that, and being honest and not stealing and supposedly being a loving brotherhood and all that stuff. And yet in the practice, they don't show any of that. They don't show mercy, they don't show compassion, love, especially towards ex-members, family members, friends. Once you are out of the organization, once you're on the other side, you are just a piece of trash to them. It's amazing how people can treat other people that way and yet still somehow feel justified. I think back of all the years that I've lived here in Honduras when I was married to my first wife. I came down here with all these ideas and dreams and all this motivation to serve the kingdom, serve Jehovah. I felt that I was giving up a different life that maybe I could have had in the United States. And I was serving where the need was greater. I found out pretty quickly after some years of living here that you go to serve where the need is greater and you find out that they didn't ask you to come there. They don't want you there unless you got something to hand out to them. It's amazing how these people who claim to be serving Jehovah, a just God, merciful God, yet in the practice they show that they have no faith, they have no love. After things in my marriage started going south, then I started to find out more and more about what my family, I mean, these are people that I lived with for years, my wife's family. They were like my family. They were like my brothers, sisters. And we served together, went to meetings together, went to assemblies together, preached together, had all kinds of get-togethers together and all that. And these people who, all those years, would smile in my face and almost made me believe that I was a part of their family. And then later on, once I left the organization and this power struggle began over my daughters and all of that, with my ex-wife and then her family as well, because they ended up siding with her and everything. And then all of a sudden, the truth came out. They never wanted me there. Once they figured out that I wasn't what they expected, they thought that Colin was going to be the prince on a white horse. I was going to ride in there, sweep their sister off their feet, and then take her back, get visas for everybody and all that, take them to the United States and be sending all this money back home, and they could build mansions and they could do this and do that. And yet I didn't do any of that. I came down there to live there with them like any other Honduran, and to struggle and work and be slugging it out there in the ministry work. I didn't fulfill their delusion, their expectations. I didn't live up to what they thought this gringo was going to be. Because that's the bottom line. You come down here, folks, and you're a gringo, you better have money, and you better be giving handouts to people, because that's what they expect out of you. Okay? Ain't nobody have any time for a poor gringo down in these parts. Okay? I'll tell you that right now. They don't want that. Foreigners are supposed to have money. Unlimited money. And you better have that. Otherwise, you're just like one of us. What the hell? That's how they... We don't need you here. Go back to your country, So it's the same here, guys. It's the same thing. Okay? You think that's only in the States? People telling you to go back to your country happens here too. They don't got any time for that. People here are too materialistic. They're too poor. They don't have time for a poor foreigner. And I got that feeling real quick. And so, years later, they told me that. That's what they expected. They thought I was going to do that. They thought I was going to be their ticket out of poverty. But I wasn't. And all of a sudden, I realized that all these years, if there was any courtesy extended towards me or niceness or any of that, it was because they were expecting something in return, and they didn't get it. Now, interestingly, my ex-wife's family, a lot of them, are in a better economic position now, and they were able to each build their own home, and they have fairly decent jobs, and they all have a car and things like that, and I'm happy for them. But they had to do it themselves. They had to work for it. The gringo wasn't going to be giving them a handout. And with time, after several decades of struggles and hard work and traveling all over and not having a stable family home or life or any of that, because I was getting moved all over the place with my job and when I was working in construction projects. But in the end, it paid off, because now that the gringo has a stable family and a home and a vehicle and a good job, now I get respect from people, but never from witnesses. I never did, and I never will. Because it doesn't matter how much you have materially, they'll still have a chip on their shoulder. They'll still have a one-up on you, because that's how they assassinate your character. That's how they put you down, because they are God's people. They have the truth. And especially if you were a witness and now you're not, and you walked away from it, or you were disfellowshipped, you're now trash. And you're going to die anyway in Armageddon. So the fact that people are going to die, that means they don't have to respect you. You're going to die anyway. You're dead. And by doing that, they show that they have absolutely no faith and they do not follow what God says at all. Because if you look in the scriptures, you don't see Jesus treating anybody like that, even if they were against him. Yeah, interesting though how I never have gotten any respect like that from a witness ever in my life, ever, much less from those people. As I told you guys about before as well, I have two older brothers, both of whom I believe are elders. Haven't talked to them in going on 16 years now. I know nothing about them. I know they're both very indoctrinated still. They're still spewing that Watchtower propaganda. Just a broken record, just copy and paste, just repeating everything they say. I'll never get that respect from them. Not asking for it either, but I'll never get it. I mean, it's interesting here, there's a saying, the reason why I get respect now, like I told you, with, having a home and a vehicle and all that kind of stuff, material stuff, people put a lot of importance on that, especially in these countries. There's a saying in Spanish, tanto tienes, tanto vales. You have so much, you're worth so much. They also say, muéstrame qué tienes y te diré cuánto vales. Show me what you have and I'll tell you how much you're worth. That's how people are here. You're only worth as much as what you have. The amount of respect you get depends on your material things. What kind of job do you have? What's your last name? Yeah, it's very real. You gonna tell me that Latinos aren't racist? Yeah, right. If any of that sounds familiar, it's the same tactics that Hitler used. If you can first make people believe that another group of people are subhuman, you're superior to them, then you can mistreat them. Because it doesn't matter. They're not human. They're animals. They're the ones that are responsible for what's going on. They're at fault for what's ruining our country. Sound familiar? Trump supporters? You see, it's that easy to make you hate somebody. Before you even know it, you're already doing it and you're already repeating the same rhetoric. And that's what the witnesses do. That's what politicians do. They make you think that another group of people are inferior, and that gives you the green light to hurt them, to hate them, discriminate against them. It's all too easy. And Watchtower knows the playbook. They know how to do it. And that's what they do with their people. We're God's people. When this whole system comes down, you've all had this car group discussion. You all have. Come on. When all this system comes down and the hailstones start falling, we're going to be the only ones left. So fuck everybody. You don't have to respect everybody. Anybody. Much less ex-witnesses, right? Those are the kind of discussions you would have in secret or in car groups when everyone went to the door and there were just two of you in the car, right? You would have those little discussions. You would sit there and you would desire, when you came back from a door that wasn't receptive, that I hope the first hailstone falls on that house. Or you get back in the car and do the proverbial, shaking off of the sandals, right? Oh, they're going to die. They didn't take my magazine. Yeah, I know, guys. I know. Come on, guys. It's not easy to give up those F bombs just from one day to the next. I'm working on it, okay? I'm not perfect. But, I always get a little bit worked up when I start talking about this stuff and going down memory lane. That's why it's not good to do it very often, you know? Dredge up all those old feelings, and for what? For what? It's over and past, but, you know, for some of us, it's not past yet. That's why I keep talking about it. For me, it's not past. It's still affecting me because I have very close family members, my own brothers, that have nothing to do with me. I would have wanted to have the experience in my life of being like an uncle, for example, because I have two nephews, young men at that ripe age when they need uncle to be around and give them some talks and advice and things like that. I guess I'll never get to do that. And I know what they would say, well, come back to Jehovah. Well, it's not going to happen. If I have to choose, I'm not doing things your way. Not yesterday, not today, and not ever. Okay? I'm not knuckling under to your little rules. So if that means I have to sacrifice all of that, well, so be it. Okay? Maybe someday on their own they'll choose to look me up. And I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. But until then, they're not budging and I'm not either. But yeah, it's the same old rule book, guys. Same thing as what happened in Nazi Germany. It's the same thing that Trump is using now. Whether you want to hear it or not, it's the truth. It's the same thing that Putin does. It's the same thing that the Jehovah's Witnesses do. You find someone, a scapegoat to blame everything on, then you dehumanize them, and then you just let the people do what they're going to do because they'll do it for you. Once people think that another group of people are inferior, violence will ensue in all of its forms. And we've all experienced that, haven't we? I know a lot of you have. I've seen your messages. I've gotten your emails. Many of you out there are suffering just like I am. Look at my daughter. The neglect that she suffered, both neglect of being neglected of love, being neglected economically, led her to attempt against her own life. So it's very real for me. That's why I continue on. That's why I keep talking about it. That's why I don't get a life like some people say in the comments. This is my life. Once Watchtower stops these practices, then you won't see the CO visit anymore. But until then, you're stuck with me. Bottom line. It's tough, guys. It's real tough. It's real tough. Some people, that's why I wanted to make this video today. And, I gotta once in a while make a good old fashioned, JW rant video. Because that's what people want to hear. I know a lot of people don't want to hear about the Bible and Jesus and all of that, especially from me, since I declared my faith and my beliefs in Jesus, my subscribers, my subscriber count has been going down steadily, which I expected. I knew that would happen. Some people are just not interested in that. They don't want to. They don't want to be a part of that. And that's okay. Whatever. I mean, you're all in your right. You do whatever you want. It is what it is. Some people will stick around. The real ones will stick around, and they'll go on this journey with me because it's my journey. I'm not forcing this on anybody else. I mean, nobody's forced to do anything or watch or listen or any of that. I'm not on here preaching to people. I'm not going to be all preachy on here now all of a sudden. I was just telling you what I feel and what I believe and why. Because all the anger, the bitterness, the resentment, all of that, it just hurts you. It's the only person that gets hurt, the only person. And I found something that helps me to have some peace. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching this video. If you're still here with me, thank you. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. Thanks for helping the algorithm and, with the ads and all of that. I know it's kind of maddening sometimes. And other people that have and are supporting always with the situation with my daughter and all of that. I do appreciate it. More to come. Take care, everybody. Be blessed. I'll see you in the next CEO visit.